Reese, when you look at the dollars that the oil industry, if we didn't have oil, if you sit down in South Dakota or you're over in someplace that doesn't have the oil, you're talking over $4 billion that went into water projects, and it's really enhanced the quality of life for lots of people across the state and in cities and rural and agriculture, all of that. That's a shocking number, but let me understand the process. All these projects that do get funded go through the legislative process, so whether the money's spent in Fargo or Minot, those projects all come before the legislature, and legislature directs it. And so your department generally just executes the will of the legislators and how this money's funded. Is that correct?
Yes.
For the most part?
For the most part, that is correct. I would just add that the legislature does appropriate dollars to the department and the State Water Commission, and we have our own buckets that they appropriate. So the legislature will tell us, you are to allocate a certain amount of dollars for flood control, a certain amount for water supply, et cetera. And then it is the State Water Commission's role within those buckets to say, all right, within these buckets, this is what the legislature gave us to work with. These are the projects that we're going to prioritize. And then projects have to apply and come before the Water Commission. And then the Water Commission decides based on that information which projects will be funded.
I see. So when you take the 10% extraction tax and the oil tax, and you take 20% of that, that goes into this bucket. And then the Water Commission does make some decisions locally. And so in other words, the legislature, because it's already directed and mandated by the Constitution, the way that it's funded, so the decision-making process, I'm just trying to get some viewers out to that. I'm sitting in the southwestern part of the state. Who do I go to? Do I lobby my legislator? Do I go to the person that's on the board? I think just clear that a little bit more up for us. So
Absolutely.
The legislature probably appropriates the bigger buckets and
Correct.
then drills down.
Correct.
And I assume your commission also gives recommendation, because legislators don't have enough background to say, hey, I got this idea, because they may or may not. Walk us through that again, just to give it
Sure,
drill down
absolutely.
a little bit more.
So I'll start with the legislative process. You can generally think of the legislative process as the big picture, like you mentioned. They give us an appropriation and authority to spend the dollars. And they tell us, within these buckets, you will have a certain amount to spend. It is the Water Commission's role then to start digging down within those buckets and make the specific individual decisions for a project by project basis.